let's get into our featured review here. And for that, the big release this week is Sinners, directed, written by Ryan Coogler. Everything he's touched so far has turned to gold. He's been an awesome director. I'm going to go first on this one and talk about Sinners. He came out of the gate hot a while back with Fruitvale Station, followed that up with Creed, then got the Best Picture nomination for Black Panther. Then Wakanda Forever came out, and now Sinners. Like he's just kind of been going nonstop. I think this is going to take number one at the box office. I know we're on Saturday night, so we can't really know for sure. But Todd, this is
Over
tracking
Minecraft?
to.
No way. Minecraft.
It was the Friday box office. Yeah, it was this was ahead, but that would also include the previews. It was but it was close. It was within a few million for Friday. So we'll see. I assume Minecraft will probably win, but it'll be close.
All right. Well, anyways, written and directed by Ryan Coogler. This is so very different than anything that Ryan Coogler's done so far, though. Where everything he's done has been like the gritty, realistic, or it's been the glossy Hollywood glam of like a Creed or a Marvel movie, and this is like gritty but stylized. Like this is the most stylized I think we've ever seen Ryan Coogler. Of course, if it's a Ryan Coogler movie, it has to star Michael B. Jordan, and he plays two different characters that are twin brothers, Smoke and Stack, and they buy a place in the middle of Mississippi in, I think it's the 30s, and they're from Chicago. They kind of swindled their way into some cash. They buy this place to start their own juke joint, and they're going to have this amazing nightclub for all the people in the area, and the star is going to be their nephew Sammy, played by Miles Caton, who I think I saw it was an introducing Miles Caton. Like this is his first film, and he's got a very fascinating presence to him. Anyways, everything's going great. You've got a bunch of other random characters that show up. The cast is kind of huge. There's a lot of those faces. Like, I know that guy. Why do I know that guy? Like, Omar Miller popping up. Mm-hmm. Like, how often does he pop up in stuff anymore? He used to be all over the place. Delroy Lindo is in it. You've got Hailee Steinfeld popping up, and you've got all these people. They're all having fun, and then vampires show up. And everything just kind of flips on its head, led by Jack O'Connell, as there's now this like push to try and destroy everything that has just been created. And this oasis of joy is being like destroyed by evil lurking on the outside, trying to purify it, if you will. This, there are two movies I thought of as I was watching this movie. One was obviously From Dusk Till Dawn. There is a ton of From Dusk Till Dawn in this, and that you're just having this great moment of whatever's going on, and it's one movie, and then all of a sudden, vampires? What? And then the whole thing like flips on its head, and you got to try and survive the night. And it's a very From Dusk Till Dawn style to it. But you've got this great music base to it too, that is half being performed, half just having this really crazy cool score going on with it, which I think, I have it up here. Who did the score? It was Ludwig Göransson did the score to this. I think, isn't that who it was? Yeah. And it's a fascinating score where you have this like this bluesy bass to it, but then you bring in some modern, and there's even like this moment where the modern era just kind of shows up in this cool little sequence that's going on. The other movie I thought of when I was watching this was Babylon, because it felt like this was Ryan Coogler's Babylon, in that he's going to take this big swing outside of the box of anything he'd done before and see how it hits. And all the reactions to it have been glowing. I'm giving it a solid 3 stars. I think it was it was a fun movie to watch. It had a lot going on. I don't think we needed an hour of exposition to start the movie. Like, we had to spend like 15 minutes getting to know every character before anything actually happened in this thing. So I don't know if we necessarily needed all of that to really care for the characters that were involved, but it's a lot of fun. I don't know if all the people that are saying, it's the best movie of the year or anything like that. It's a fun movie. And it's a big swing that he kind of hits. But it was a fun watch for sure. And whenever a filmmaker that quality is doing something, it's worth noting and it's worth watching. So 3 stars, solid 3 stars for Sinners, for me. And let's go to Zach. What do you think?
So I'm a fan of Ryan Coogler as well. And I'm a huge fan of Michael B. Jordan. And I like this movie too. Although I think I like it in almost the exact opposite way that you say, Terry, because I actually like the first hour of this movie more than the second hour. I thought the first hour of this movie was kind of an incredible recreation of the 30s South. First of all, this movie is shot very clearly on film, on 35 millimeter, by Autumn Durald Arakpal. And if there is an Oscar nomination for this movie, I hope it's at least considered for the cinematography, because this movie looks terrific. And the production design is terrific. The costumes are great. The music is great too. And I don't know, I was having a really, really fun time with the characters. I liked getting to know them. I like that this was a movie that clearly is going to take place over a 24-hour period. And I like that for the first half of the movie, it's building to something. You don't quite know what it's building to, but you sense that there's going to be a lot of entertainment and a lot of chaos. Maybe that's where you see Babylon a little bit, because I can see that too. The music is really fun. Michael B. Jordan is really fun in it, and it's got some great interaction of the characters. Second half of
the music performance aspect, along with the chaos, I think too, with Babylon.
Yeah, and there's just I like the way they introduced a lot of the characters in this, like the Delroy Lindo. That was a great scene, and I think that it's a nice organic way of structuring a little bit of history about who these characters are. Second half of the movie, I don't know. I mean, I've seen this sort of stuff before in some of the movies that you mentioned, Terry. The one that I would throw out there is Abigail. I mean, this is a movie about people who are stranded that are having to deal with this kind of imminent zombie vampire hybrid threat. I get that there is an element of racial politics in the movie, which I appreciate, and I like that aspect of the storytelling. But to me, this is a movie that is overstuffed. I mean, it is unnecessary. It should be cut by about 25-30 minutes. It just goes on way too long, and it's not that it's bad or boring to watch, but it's just overstuffed at a certain point. And the most interesting aspect of the movie are the relationships of the characters. The blood and guts stuff, to me, I don't know, I've seen it before. And then this movie gets really indulgent with the mid-credit scene. It's like Ryan Coogler didn't learn it. It's like he's taking it from Marvel. And what's so strange about that scene is that it actually is a good scene. I just don't know why it's a mid-credit scene. Why not cut out 15 to 20 minutes of the chaos and the bloodshed and just get to that scene, which is an interesting scene featuring Buddy Guy. And
then there's also an end credit scene.
I didn't stay for that. I figured there would be an end credit scene. I was peace out by that point. I was actually standing up watching the mid credit scene, and that shit went on for like 7 minutes. I'm like, should I have a seat? No. Should I not have a seat? I don't know. But on a whole, I do give the movie thumbs up because it is enjoyable. It's a romp. The cast is really fun in it, and it does have some really great music in it, and there are some really nice moments in it. I like the movie's fascination with cunnilingus, which seems like it's a major plot point throughout the movie. It's brought up like 6 or 7 times. You know, I just got back from Branson, Missouri last month, and this movie kind of, I went to like the Dolly Parton Stampede. This movie at times felt like it could have been a show at a place like Branson, and I don't know if that's like a ringing endorsement of the movie, but at times it felt like I was at some sort of carnival attraction. I don't, from the director of Fruitvale Station, I guess I would assume that I would hope that he would try to do something more highbrow, but maybe that's just because I'm a pretentious fop, because this is a well done movie. I just think he has more talent and more ambition than something like this. So I'm kind of mixed on it, but on a whole, it's a good movie and worth checking out.
All right, Todd, are we thrice approved?
Yes, we're thrice approved. The one movie I thought of immediately was Legend, the Tom Hardy movie, especially with the Michael B. Jordan characters, because in that movie, Tom Hardy plays gangster twins. They're ruthless. They're running scams, and then it's giving an actor a chance to do something he's never really done before. And Michael B. Jordan is really good in this. But the movie is a blast, and I know that's why Zach is a little bit hesitant to give it thumbs up, because after his Monkey review, we know he doesn't like having fun at the movies.
Mm-hmm.
This movie is a lot of fun,
True.
but it's like,
but according to his last review too, it can also be too pretentious.
Yeah,
so,
true.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tight
fine line.
The gig is up.
But yeah, it is sort of like every vampire movie. Like this has the brilliant setup, like distracting you from what is about to happen, but there is a lot of exposition in the first half, but it is good. Like I did really enjoy those scenes. The problem with the movie is like the backdrop is awful. Like, and it was the same problem that was in Black Panther. Like, in general, the movie looks good, like a glossier Western, like a Tombstone or something like that. But Coogler focuses so much on what is in front of the camera that the background is always lousy. And I think cinematography is a terrible nomination if this were to get it. And which is the reason why Black Panther didn't get nominated, because the background is always off in all his movies for some reason. But the one scene I really liked was the big music scene where everything just kind of like is deconstructed. It was interesting and unexpected and really meaningful. I think it's one of the cooler scenes of the year. But then, yeah, and then it just becomes From Dusk Till Dawn. That has to be the inspiration for this movie, is From Dusk Till Dawn. I like that the movie does have a lot to say, but I don't really think it knows what it wants to do in the last act. Like, there's a lot going on. A lot of characters get what they want. A lot of characters get what they don't want. But I mean, there's just no real through line between the first half and where it eventually ends up. Not that it doesn't work; it's still like entertaining as hell. But there's an issue with it keeping consistent, and like with the characters even feeling consistent. Like, I mean, there's some that are fleshed out, and others that are supposedly important that you're supposed to feel something for. That I don't really know why. It's just a little imperfect in his screenplay. Michael B. Jordan has rarely been this good in movies. Hailee Steinfeld, I think, is really good. Probably her best since her Oscar nomination 15 years ago, I guess now. Delroy Lindo was my favorite, though. Like, his character was really cool. But Coogler's in that conversation of being one of the most interesting filmmakers. Like, could this movie have been made by Ryan Johnson? Like, sure. Would it have been good? Of course it would have been good. He's Ryan Johnson. But it wouldn't have had like the passion and soul behind it that Coogler brings, like someone who like lives and respects the material and like the time period and just has a personal connection to it. So I'm at 3 stars as well. I think that's kind of not where I expect this to go, but and again with the post credits and mid credit scenes, like I'm so tired of that stuff. Like nobody stayed. Like I was the only one that even was there for the first one, and this was like a pretty full theater. So like I'm tired of that crap. Like if it's not a Marvel movie, then forget that. Like nobody's gonna watch those scenes, and those are important scenes.
Yeah, I didn't stay for the post credit, but I had a pretty full crowd too. And they were all into it. Also, like they were a fun crowd to watch this with.
Yeah, I saw it with about 5 other people, and they were on their phones. But I think we're generally speaking sort of on the same page. What I would say about the cinematography is that it's low light conditions. It's very grimy, like film stock. So it's never going to be the clarity that you'd see in digital. And I like that. To me, this looked old timey. And even in some of the scenes where they're like in the field, like when they kill the snake. I mean, yeah, you can't see what's clearly in the background, but I like that look. I think it's a nice kind of washed out look that fits the time period really well. And then I would just say, I said earlier, this movie was like the Rory McIlroy at the Masters. Okay, I loved the first half of this movie. The first half of this movie, to me, reminded me of like Mudbound or something. I mean, it was just a perfect period piece, and then it did everything it could to do things that annoyed me. I get that this movie's not made for me, but I just kind of feel like, I don't know, it wouldn't have shocked me if the post-credit scene that I did not see had this as a tie-in to a Marvel franchise. And that is not a thing that I'm proud to say, but it's kind of true. Like, this feels like there's some sort of franchise element that could be baked into it, which is unfortunate. It's not to say it's not entertaining as hell, but I don't know, maybe do something a little bit more mature. That's all I'm saying. I don't know.
The end credits, I mean, it wasn't like an important plot point, but it was Sammy singing "This Little Light of Mine," which was pretty cool.
Oh, that's cool. See,
he's like a up and coming R&B artist. He's not really an actor. So this is his first role, but he's there because of his voice. His voice is incredible.
See, put the buddy guy thing as the last scene and put that as your mid credits. Like, you don't need to go into the end credits.
And it was like a few minute scene too, and I was the only one in the theater.
Why not make that the opening? I mean, this movie's bookended, right? So why not make that the opening scene rather than, and then just go back to that? I don't know. To me, it's not a huge deal, but it speaks to the fact that this movie is just overstuffed. Just tone it down a little bit, okay? We have a lot of entertaining things here. This doesn't need to be this hyper-kinetic, overstuffed, overproduced, whatever. You know, just make it a smaller movie with lots of fun musical numbers and some blood and guts, and it's good enough as it is. It doesn't need to have that 2 hour and 20-minute running length.
Well, he got $90 million to make this movie, and if this ends up at making, 150 million or something at the box office, I'd consider that a win. And that this is not the kind of movie that you think going in necessarily. I think it's a swing.
At the beginning, it did some really interesting stylistic stuff of the jumps that I was not expecting, but then they all kind of went away. Like, if it had somehow been able to keep that up in a way, I think that would have been cool, but it didn't.
Yeah, and what I liked about it too is for a while I was wondering why Michael B. Jordan was playing twins. I mean, we have obviously in the last few months, Mickey 17 and the BDN, and it's like, is this just now a thing where characters play, doppelgangers? I like how he gives the two characters kind of subtle differences. It's not like obvious, like Nicolas Cage in Adaptation or something like that. You have to read into it a little bit, and I think it's a really good performance. And you understand why it's necessary that those two characters coexist with each other later on in the movie. It's a fascinating element, and it's actually maybe my favorite scene in the movie is the scene when he has the truck in the town. He hires the girl to watch the truck. That felt like something out of Django Unchained. I mean, that was a really cool, again, character introduction that gives you a little bit of backstory to the characters in a very organic way. I just think, did this need to be a vampire movie? I don't know. I don't think it was necessary.
All right. Well, we are thrice approved on this, though. Yeah, I don't see how people are saying. People are just getting overexcited about stuff. People are saying this is the best movie of the year. It's got this like huge score. What's it on Rotten Tomatoes? It's like 95% or something on Rotten Tomatoes. Or something.
I think it's like 98.
Yeah, which is crazy. People are just always, everything has to be either the best or the worst, and it's nothing can be in between. I think this is somewhere in between. It's a fun movie, but it's not like I could see a world where this, like, Everything Everywhere is its way to like some great Oscar success, but it would not be warranted.
It would need to have a reasonably long life at the theater. Like, it would need to keep a steady thing with word of mouth, which I don't know. I mean, we'll see what the end numbers are.